Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Now in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make your drops hit harder, how to use the EQ knobs in order to make your drop stand out more from your mix and just have a more powerful impact when you're playing it in your sets. The track that I'm going to be using today is Captain Curtis Pirate Bass. It's a 128 BPM kind of big room electro house track, I'd say. Basically what we're going to be doing is we're only going to be using the EQ knobs when using this little small tip. Now before we get into this video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, share, and if you guys want one-on-one tutoring with me, it's kind of like a Skype lesson, you guys can ask me any questions that you want on DJing. If it's a previous video, if you want to get more clarification or some extra examples or some problems that you're having with your own, DJing, definitely hit me up there. My link is down below. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. So I'm going to be starting from the break and build up-ish of the track. Just kind of let's rewind here. So essentially, I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to explain it, and then I'm going to go over it one more time. Yeah, so essentially what I did there was just manipulating the low bass. What you want to do is during the build-up, you want to take away the lower frequencies. It just kind of takes away the punch from the snare or the bass line, puts a little bit of a dampener on the build-up, and then right as soon as the drop hits, you probably want to do this maybe a beat before the drop hits or maybe 2 beats, somewhere in between that vocal chop length, and then from there, you just put it up to the max, or if you want to make it hit even harder, you just twist it a little bit more to maybe around max like 1, 2 o'clock, turning it down maybe to 9, 10 on the EQ knob, and then that's pretty much it. So I'll go over it one more time. So turning down the low EQ knob, little by little, you can do this little by little. I can use the filter knob to add more of an effect, to increase more tension. I can add some So yeah, you can use this on a different variety of tracks. It doesn't need to be, let's say, like an electro house or big room track. You can use it on pretty much anything. So I have a track here that's a trap track, more kind of like a future bassy trap track. But the same concept applies to it as well. So let's just start from the build up of this track. So yeah, you guys can hear that it essentially works on any genre. It's just if you really want your drop to stand out from the mix, because some tracks, they have a little bit of an underwhelming drop to them. Maybe it doesn't hit as hard. Maybe the kick that's used is a little bit of a softer kick. Sometimes you get really hyped with the drop and then it doesn't push forward that energy. This is a great tip to use for that. So a lot of, I think, like house tracks do that. So if you use a bunch of effects on your build up and you have like a roll going on to it, and let's say like a spiral or a reverb, then when you're using that on the build up, it really expands the sound a lot. And so when the drop hits and you take the effects all off of it, it kind of takes it down to normal, and it seems like the buildup is going, and it doesn't explode with, you know, the drop. It kind of dampens it. You know, when you take away all the effects, it kind of goes down to the drop. That's what it kind of seems like. I'm sure you guys have heard it in different mixes and stuff like that, where it's a little bit of an underwhelming drop. So when you're doing those sorts of things and you're adding more and more effects on it, it's really a good idea to kind of turn down the EQ knob, just dampen the buildup a little bit, so that when you're putting the effects, it doesn't overwhelm the speakers and just the sound of the entire mix, so that when the drop hits, you actually have some sort of climax to whatever you're leading up to, and instead of just, you know, kind of leading up the climax and then not delivering, you know. So yeah, this was just a quick little tip on how to make your drops hit harder. Make sure you don't, you know, overwhelm it when you're clocking it over, just because it can, you know, redline, and then that doesn't really sound good. When you're using those effects, also one last tip is, if you're gonna be turning down the low frequency knob and using effects, it kind of lets you use more effects without redlining. Because let's say my low frequency is at where it is normal, or just a bit more, and I add some like crazy echo, reverb, you know, effects and stuff like that, it might actually redline because it's expanding the sound. So EQ knobs for the build up, don't use it on every build up, but for those that you're trying to use more effects on and hype it up a little bit more, it's a great little tip for you to actually lead up to the drop and make it explode, rather than have this huge climax and then dip down and, you know, have an underwhelming drop, which isn't great for the crowd, isn't great for what they want to hear, and a little bit embarrassing for when you're playing a live set. It's happened to me, I know, a couple times. But yeah, so again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little tutorial tip. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, share, and let me know what other tutorials you guys want to see. And yeah, peace.